If you've been told you need a dental bridge, here's something that probably wasn't explained to you before you said yes. To hold that bridge in place, your dentist has to grind down the two healthy teeth sitting on either side of the gap permanently into crowns. Well, nobody tells you that part first. They tell you about the gap, the missing tooth. They tell you about the cost. What they don't walk you through is what has to happen to the teeth you still have. Healthy teeth, so the bridge has something to hold on to. Well, I'm not here to tell you a bridge is the wrong choice. Sometimes it's exactly right. But you deserve to understand what you're actually agreeing to before you're in the chair. So let me walk you through it. I have actually been practicing dentistry for 30 years, and I have seen bridges at every stage. I have placed dental bridges myself. I have seen dental bridges that are failing. One side becomes loose. There's a new cavity underneath one or both of the crowns that are holding this bridge in place. And I've seen bridges that have failed. And sometimes that failure is catastrophic. They end up losing both of those once healthy teeth. And now instead of missing one tooth, they're missing three or more. So when we look at this situation through a biological or holistic lens, my goal is always to preserve your natural tooth structure when it's possible. I always say I can never replace something better than what you had when it grew there. So the more healthy, natural tooth structure that we can preserve, the better your long-term chances are for tooth health, tooth survival, and just maintaining your chewing and smiling and function that you want to have. So I'm not anti-bridge at all. I've done plenty of bridges in my 30 years' time, but I am pro-informed decision. I want you to make sure that you are really understanding what you're choosing before you're making that choice. So let's talk through specifics here. Let's say you're missing just one tooth, and that missing tooth is the goal. We want to replace something so that you can get your chewing back if it's in the front, so that you can get your smiling back. Understandable. When this happens, what has to happen is the two teeth on either side of the gap, they have to be able to hold a crown. Now, the crown on this tooth is connected to a crown that replaces the missing tooth, which is then connected to a crown on the other tooth. So this is a three-tooth unit. It's all connected together. In order to make space for what is now largely porcelain, it used to be that we would do a metal core underneath to have it be strong enough for the bridge. Thankfully, porcelains are now very, very strong, especially with zirconia, that we could do this all in a porcelain structure. But we have to make room for that porcelain. So if you can imagine now when you're biting down, the tooth above contacts the tooth below. If you put porcelain on top of one of those teeth, it's going to be the only spot that touches. That's not going to work. So in order to make space for that structure to fit over top of this three-tooth span, we have to remove tooth. So that's on the chewing surface. We have to remove enough that it can allow for that thickness of porcelain. And there's only so much that can really happen as far as that thickness goes. The materials themselves require that we make enough space in order for them to be strong enough to not fracture when you're chewing. So we have to remove 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters of healthy tooth structure to make space for that much porcelain. But that's not all. It has to go all the way around to have a complete, firm fixture that goes over that tooth and holds the pressure of the tooth in between. So we have to remove tooth all the way around, 360, on every single surface of that tooth to allow, again, room for the porcelain. Again, 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters. That's pretty substantial when we're talking about a tooth. So those core structures anchor everything. And that anchorage gives enough support so that you can chew where that tooth is missing. That's called a pontic in dental words. We have to be able to replace that missing tooth with a pontic. But you have to understand that this is irreversible. You cannot ever put back the enamel that was removed. Once the teeth that are holding this bridge have had the enamel removed, it's gone forever. So it's always going to be a crown. Even if in the future you say, I think I actually want the bridge removed. I want a dental implant placed. Or maybe we get to the point that we're regrowing teeth. Unfortunately, we're never going to be able to uncrown the teeth that are holding the bridge right now. So, the problem that I really have is that oftentimes when we're looking in these situations, you're missing a tooth here, but the teeth on either side, they actually don't need a crown. They wouldn't have had all of that tooth removed. They're healthy. Sometimes they're cavity free. They still get the treatment. Well, what does that do to the tooth? Really, what that does is it accelerates the lifespan of a tooth. We talk about this in dentistry, where teeth have a little bit of a lifespan and a history that they go through. They start off healthy, nothing's wrong with them. Then they get a small cavity. We put a small filling. The filling cracks, the filling breaks, the filling wears out, something might happen. You get a larger filling. Maybe you get a new cavity on the tooth, becomes a larger filling. Eventually, it's so large that there's not enough natural tooth structure to support it. You get an onlay or a crown. Eventually, the trauma of all of that work adds up and the tooth might die. So now you end up losing the tooth and replace a dental implant. Well, if you have perfectly healthy teeth, we've now accelerated that lifespan all the way to the point of the crown. So if it's going to traumatize the tooth, it's going to speed up this life cycle and loss potentially to be much sooner. In fact, research shows that either one or both teeth holding the bridge are frequently lost within 10 years' time of that bridge being placed. So this isn't just a maybe on occasion, randomly happens. This is fairly frequent. There's also some other issues why bridges commonly fail. So that pontic or the missing tooth, it sits against the gum line, but it isn't actually a real tooth. It doesn't connect to the gum. It doesn't go down in the bone. So it makes it a little difficult. You do get food trapped underneath that little replacement tooth. Flossing and brushing, you can't get underneath that very well. We have to use these special things called floss threaders, where you have to put them underneath this bridge and floss down and floss around. Well, a lot of people don't floss anyway, but then if we add something more difficult to floss, the likelihood of you flossing goes down. So what happens is you start to get a little spot underneath the bridge, not where the missing tooth is, but on the other tooth that is now crowned and holding the bridge in place, and you start to get decay there. You can't brush it. You can't clean it. And oftentimes we can't see it. It's underneath this bridge. We can't see it on an x-ray very well. And so the cavity starts to grow. Not only that, but the bridge itself has something called a fulcrum. Where you bite and put most pressure, it will slightly flex the bridge. So let's say you're biting most here, putting most pressure here. It slightly pushes the bridge down, which lifts this side up. Over time and just overuse, that lifting can cause the cement seal around that crown to fail. You don't know because it's not enough for the bridge to actually become loose. It's still nicely tight and bonded over here on the other tooth, but it's broken the seal here. So now bacteria can get up underneath the crown. We really can't see that, and you really can't clean that. So now you get a cavity developing and nobody knows it's happening and no prevention is possible. It's technically invisible until it's advanced. And this is why that statistic, why the research shows that one or both of those teeth are commonly lost within 10 years' time because of this cavity issue. That's not the only thing either. Gum disease can also happen when you can't really get in underneath here and clean appropriately. So you get gum disease around this, and it's another leading cause of failures of bridges. So the average lifespan is often cited at around 10 to 15 years for a bridge. So I'll often talk to someone and I'll say, you're 40 years old. If this lifespan is 10 to 15 years, how old are you? You're 40. How old do you expect to be when you are no longer here? 90. All right, you have 50 years. That means you're going to need at least 3 of these bridges over the lifespan of the bridge. There's no way the teeth that are holding that bridge are going to be able to withstand that much trauma, that much use, that much abuse, honestly, over the years. And the likelihood of failure there is going to be even greater, and failure to the catastrophic point of losing one or both of those teeth. So here's the big thing you need to understand. This creates a domino effect. A failed bridge isn't just getting a new bridge. So now The abutment teeth, or the teeth that are holding this in place, are often compromised. So, after years of crown coverage or new decay or all the other complications that can happen, gum disease, bone loss, you're now losing one or both of those teeth. So I often will say this will lead a one tooth problem to become a three tooth problem. So you've compounded the problem rather than just giving yourself an easy solution. So here's the real question, and it's not bridge or implant. The real question is, are you willing to permanently alter two healthy teeth to solve a one tooth problem? For some people, the answer is yes. And that's completely a reasonable choice. But it should be an informed yes, not just a default yes. The single best way to avoid ever facing this decision is actually to keep your natural teeth healthy enough that you never lose one in the first place. That starts with remineralization, giving your enamel what it needs to stay strong. So I've put together a free guide on exactly how to do that. Link is below. And if you're facing this decision right now, or if you want a second opinion from someone who will walk you through every option, I'll link Total Care Dental and our practitioner directory below as well. What are the alternatives to this? Well, the first alternative is a dental implant. What really is a dental implant? The implant itself is replacing the root portion of the tooth. So a lot of times people will reference a dental implant as the entire thing, but that's actually not technically correct. The dental implant is replacing the root portion of the tooth. Some implants are called one piece and maybe the connector piece also, but that's it. The part that you're chewing with is actually a crown that goes on top of the implant. Technicalities aside, the details that you need to know about this during this decision is that it doesn't have any impact on your neighboring teeth. The implant anchors to the bone itself. It does require adequate bone, so you have to have enough to put that dental implant in, and it does require healing time. It also is slightly higher cost. These are reasons that a lot of people will say, well, I'm just going to go to the bridge because I can have it faster, I have poor bone there, and it's a little less expensive. You know what? If that's your decision, great, but do it knowing what you're choosing, that you know that you may lose one or both of those teeth in time down the road. If you only have 10 or 15 years left, this may be a fabulous option for you. So just know what you're choosing, because when you're choosing an implant, you're making other choices as well. You're not damaging anything. It should hopefully be a lifelong restoration, but it does need adequate bone, healing time. It is a little costlier. We do implants all day long, every single day. I have a dental implant here. I've had it for over 30 years now. I don't expect that it's ever going to go anywhere. A dental implant is a long-lasting restoration and solution that doesn't damage any other teeth, but it may not be for you. So what are some other options? A removable partial denture. What is that? Well, what it is it's something that comes in and out. And a partial denture means it's only replacing one or more teeth, not all of the teeth. A full denture means it's replacing every single tooth in your mouth. A partial denture means it's replacing just a few missing ones. So the advantage of a partial denture is, again, no alteration to other teeth, although sometimes we have to flatten the side to allow that partial denture to go in and out a little easier. So modest alteration to your other teeth. Lowest cost, for sure. This is the most cost-effective option to replace a missing tooth. The disadvantages and the things that you really need to understand is it requires daily care. You have to take this removable appliance out. You need to clean it. You need to clean in your mouth. It can also lead to that tooth decay I talked about if you're not cleaning properly around it. It can also lead to gum disease. So you have to clean properly around it. And the thing that people complain the most about is food gets underneath it. So as you're chewing, food does get underneath. And sometimes people have to pop it out in the middle of a meal and rinse things out and get them out of the way. It never chews as well as your teeth did before they were removed. But none of these options really are going to do that except for maybe a dental implant. So you just have to know what you're choosing. The other option or the other problem with this is those partial dentures do require a connection to the teeth on either side. So you may have a little clasp, what's called a clasp, either an acrylic or even metal clasp that goes around the teeth on either side. Again, it's just knowing what you're choosing. Is it a bad choice? No, but just know what you're choosing. The third option is do nothing. Don't replace it at all. There's a lot of people that we work with that they're losing a back tooth. That's the very back tooth. They're not concerned about it from a bite standpoint. There's no cosmetic impact. It's an easy choice. Just leave it out. And sometimes we tell people, you don't actually have to make this decision right now. If you are losing a tooth tomorrow, if you're going to do a dental implant, we typically like that bone to heal 3 months before you're even placing an implant. So during those 3 months' time, you assess, can I live without this tooth? Do I miss it? Would I really like this to be replaced? And if so, if the answer is yes, then you can weigh, okay, is this something removable? Are we going to do the bridge, knowing what we're choosing? Or are we going to move all the way to the dental implant? So doing nothing isn't a bad idea, especially temporarily, just to decide what's really going to be the best. Now, if it's a front tooth, a different situation entirely. We understand you're going to want something there, most likely. So there are options, and there are even things you can do temporarily to limp through a few months while things are healing so that you can make the best decision. The bridge itself is always on the list. This is still a valid option with limited bone. And if there's a hard cost constraint, it may be the best way to go. If you're avoiding surgery, and some people just don't want to do surgery, again, the bridge itself could be a very good option for you. So the key is when you're at the dental office, you need to make sure that you're talking through every single option. So feel free, please ask your provider, okay, go through my options with me. Everything from doing nothing to a dental implant and everything in between. What are the true trade-offs in my unique situation? And what's the most conservative? If that's your personal philosophy, that's mine. If that's yours, what is the best way for me to preserve natural tooth structure? Just to sum this all up, a bridge isn't wrong, but it's not automatic either, and you deserve the full picture before you decide. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Michelle Jorgensen, and as always, my mission is to give you the knowledge and tools that you need to live well.